Good morning, students. Let's begin the class. Today we will discuss about the last among all the water bodies, that is river. What is river? A river is a body of water that flows downhill in a channel, usually towards the ocean. It means that river is a stream which flows into a channel from a high ground to a low ground and ultimately to a sea or lake. It joins at the end to a sea or a lake. So, river during its starting point and ending point, two terms are there: the source of river and the mouth of river. Source of river and the mouth of river. What these are? From river, where the river originate, the origin point of river. From where the river originate. What is the origin point of river? From where it starts its journey is called as a source of river. And at the end, it drains its water either into a sea or a lake. So that point is called as a mouth of the river, where river ends its journey or completes its journey. That is called as the mouth of the river. These two important terms are there: source of river, from where it originates, and mouth of river, where it completes its journey. Now all the rivers are different, but their characteristics are similar. The river begins at the source, follows a path which is called as a course, and ends at the mouth. So what is the course of the river? A river comprises three courses: the upper course, the middle course, and the lower course. If it is remembered to you, I have already explained this when I was explaining chapter first, the diagrammatic representation of geographical features. I explained it through the help of river. So, by following this path, in the course of the river, it forms many features such as delta, estuary, confluence, tributary, distributaries, meander, oxbow lake, and many more features. Now, from where the river originates, it is generally from the mountains. Now, where do those mountains get the water? The mountain get water either by the melting of snow, melting of glaciers, or through the rainwater. So the rivers which are formed by the melting of snow are called as the snow-fed river. Those are called as the snow-fed rivers. And these are known as the perennial river. These are known as perennial river. What it means? Perennial rivers are those rivers which have water in it throughout the season, throughout the year. They contain water throughout the year. The water is available all the year in it. So because of that, they are of great importance for the human beings, animals, as well as plants. They are also helpful in generating the electricity, irrigating the agricultural land, then support a large settlement. So human beings are benefited by that. Then animals also, by the river water, they just drink the water from there, they swim in it, they take bath. Then for the aquatic animals also, as they live in water, in the river water. Now some of the rivers are the do not have water throughout in the year. Those rivers are called as the non-perennial river. What these rivers are? Non-perennial river. The river which do not have water throughout the year in it are called as non-perennial river. They are fed by the rainwater during the rainy season. Once the season over, the water after some time dry up. So those rivers are called as non-perennial river. When rivers that have water throughout the year in it are called as perennial river. Those do not have water throughout the year, only they are fed during the rainy season, are called as non-perennial river. So this is all about the river. As river, from where it start, it is called as source of the river. Where it ends, it is called as mouth of the river. And they are of two types, the perennial river and the non-perennial river. Now how the rivers are important to us? Almost same as what, in the way the oceans are helpful to us, the sea are helpful to us, the lakes are helpful to us, rivers are also, as they also contain the water. So here are some of the points which I have written, that ancient civilization developed. In the past, if we take the example of Indus Valley civilization, it is developed at the bank of river Indus. As the people get the water for all the purpose to meet all their requirement, so they developed their civilization there. Serves as inland waterways, under the water they get the transport from there. Then source of food, need not to explain, I already explained about the lakes, importance of lakes and importance of ocean it is. Then irrigate agricultural land, then generating hydroelectricity, home of aquatic animals, they get shelter, the aquatic animals, recreational activities take place, facilitates the drinking water to the cities, to the urban and the rural areas, support transport for transporting the products from one place to another place, helpful in water cycle, same as the ocean are helpful in the just the water become heat up, then evaporate. So what process with the ocean, same for rest of the water bodies. Then natural harbor. Harbor is a place from where the ship arrived and then moved from the place. That is called as a harbor. Then treated as sacred. Some of the rivers are there, especially in our country. The river Ganga is, which is called as a holy river. People worship it. So it is one of the special importance for the river, that people treat it as a sacred river, or they use it to worship it. So here we have completed all the water bodies, that the oceans are of 5 types, 5 oceans are there, the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Antarctic Ocean and the Indian Ocean. Then next water body, sea. 2 types of seas are there, the marginal sea and the inland sea. Then lakes are also of 2 types, the freshwater lake and the saltwater lake. Then river, again the perennial river and the non-perennial river. Now only the pollution of water bodies, how they get polluted, is left. That topic is left in the chapter. Then we will complete the chapter. That we will cover in our next class. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.